if you scroll up to the other one too, with we have an older Keeve Trennis. If you've been following the comics, which I am not caught up on, getting there. Keeve is much younger. That was Skier's Padawan.
Yes.
So she's much older. We don't know if it's Tarek
I don't know which one it is.
Senate.
Well,
you can't really tell. Seret or Tarek.
Okay, but didn't what happened to one of them?
One of them dies, but then they bring them back.
He comes back, but he doesn't have a soul, right? His soul's like essentially gone. He's kind of like a husk.
Yeah, they have but they have a psychic connection, so it's very weird.
Yeah.
I need to get caught up to know what's going on there. It also seems like they now have a cybernetic implant.
I saw that. It kind of looks like the people from Bespin.
Yes, and the hand too. Look at the hand.
Yeah, that looks like he got his arm chopped off. So I don't know what happened there. And is that Lorna? That's Lorna D next to them too, right?
That is Lorna D, who I don't think had like.
But look, what happened to her Leku?
That's what I was about to say. I don't know.
She's got like Dr. Octavius Leku now. I wonder if she can like control him and then she uses him as like whips and shit.
It's interesting. I'd be curious to know more about that.
This Twi'lek battle armor is pretty sick.
Also, Lorna D had one of the best books of Phase 1.
Oh my God. Her book was phenomenal.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see Lorna back.
But this would make sense because where we leave her, she's prisoner. She's a prisoner of the Republic, right? They capture her, and that's kind of like where it ends up.
She was captured, yes.
She was captured, and they were using her to get to Markion because she essentially she was like, all right, like I give up. So now she's allied. I wonder if she's going to be an anti-hero. I wonder if she's being set up to be like she's fighting with the Jedi, but she knows that's her best bet for survival, but she's still up to no good because she's an evil bitch. Like there's no way around it.
Yes.
Like she does some evil stuff. She was setting up bodies with bombs. Like that's some evil stuff. See, back to the whole, I remember more about that than I remember anything with Phase 2. The only thing that has stuck in my mind in Phase 2 is the ending of it's the wedding. The wedding scene is the only part to Phase 2, and I will have to say the only reason why I care about that is because the way that Mark Thompson reads it and the way they put all the sound effects and everything into it, I could see it happening in my mind. It was all playing out. It was like a movie. But outside of that, there hasn't been a lot that has really stuck out as this was really interesting. Like there's a couple characters I'm like, oh, they're fun, but I can barely remember their names. I just love that I remembered like all of those intricate details when it came out from her book. And I don't know if it was because of the way that it was performed or it's just like it was just that good.
I'm reading Path of Vengeance right now, which is
Is that the teen one?
Yeah, it's not teen. It's, they're
young
like talking
adult?
about sex and stuff in it. Yeah, young adult. And it doesn't advance the story. Again, it is all about Markion's mother or grandmother. I don't know who she is to him. Marta again.
She's so boring.
But they went back to the end of the Battle of Jeddah.
Why?
And now we're back on Dalna, which is kind of where you are in this other story. And I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this again? And I didn't think I was going to go into GCX and start a fight with everyone over the High Republic Phase 2.
Honestly, I'm
but
here
now
for it.
I feel like I am going to start a fight with everyone about how I'm so disenchanted with Phase 2 at this point.
Boring. It feels like they ran out of ideas and they're like, we have to do this, but we have to stretch out. I think that what they're doing is they're stretching out Phase 3 so that when Acolyte shows up, it has a tie-in.
I just don't see there is nothing has been worth taking us away from the characters that we were starting to enjoy. Like you look at this one cover and it has Elzar Mann on it with the fallen
starlight beacon in the ocean.
Right, and we left that off with Stellan Gios being dead.
Yeah.
And Elzar and Avar having to pick up the pieces. But now what? I got to wait 2 years for some like advancement on that? Like that's what's bothering me is this. It's not like I'm waiting for the next season of House of the Dragon, which I will, wait 2 years for. It's a book. It's a comic book. Like I want more meat on that bone before we get to Acolyte.
Do you think Phase 2 was used as kind of like cannon fodder to get them through the development of Phase 3?
Maybe.
Like that's the only thing I could think of. Like some of the writers are like that wrote the Phase 2 books are like really good. Like they have great writing. It's unfortunate that the substance that they were using was just so inadequate. It's just like there was, which is frustrating because I've read other books by these authors and they're great. So I really feel like Lucas ran out of ideas when it came to Phase 2. Like they had this really cool idea of like, let's really start to develop the beginning of the Jedi Order in the expansion of the Outer Rim, blah, 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 blah. And they did a great job in Phase 2. And then they're like, let's go even further. People love this one. They loved it in Phase 1. Let's go even further back and see how they like that. It doesn't make any sense. Either I think Phase 2 was, and we can talk about this more next week, but I think Phase 2 is used as a meat shield to get through the development of Phase 3 so that it could be a Big Bang. Like that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Because the writing was so good in Phase 1. There was a lot of character development, but even though there was a ton of character development, it was still enjoyable character development. Because and we've said this before time and time again when it comes to character development in most of these shows, they're boring.